Sci-fi is a very complicated genre. I see why, you know, the smart people dig it. They like that complicated stuff. Hey nerds, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing another episode of Reading Rouge. I know it's been like 6 videos. But before we do that, please leave a like. It really helps me and I appreciate it. Thank you. Now let's get into this. Okay. So the book that I'm going to be talking about today is called 359 by Gretchen McNeil. Here she is. Can you see her? I still haven't learned how to... Yeah. I have actually read this book before. I discovered it, I think, my junior year in high school. It was either my junior or senior year in high school, and I have loved it ever since. I'm going to try something new today, guys. I'm going to try some orange color corrector because I have dark spots around my... Ooh. Oh my god. I have dark spots around my mouth and under my eyes, so hopefully this will make it look a teensy bit better. Spoilers alert! That's all. 359 is a sci-fi fiction book, and it centers around a girl named Josie. Josie finds out that she has a doppelganger in a parallel universe. Crazy, I know. You know, curious teenage girl, she wants to know what the heck's going on. She decides to switch lives with her doppelganger, and then that took a turn for the worst. I think I put too much on the bottom. That's interesting. I look like I just made out with the orange doodle bop. Do y'all remember that show? Let's talk about the main character, Josie. So Josie is a smart cookie. She's like a future scientist in the making. We love that. Women in STEM. Come on, hunty. She's kind of dorky. She really doesn't, you know, care too much about the drama of high school. She's just trying to get her homework done and pass, which I felt that because I was exactly like that in high school. I'm still like that. I look so scary right now. This looks so... I think I put a little too much around the mouth. Life's not going too well for Josie right now. Her parents are going through a divorce. Her teacher's on her ass for absolutely no reason because he has it out for her. And then her boyfriend is acting very, very strange. So you know how I said Josie's life wasn't going all that well? So at the beginning of the book, like the first 3-4 chapters, she finds out that her boyfriend, Nick, is cheating on her with one of her friends named Madison. Trifling at... Men are trifling. Even the fictional ones in books. Why y'all so trifling all the time? Why y'all like this? She catches them in the act and she is devastated, rightfully so. Just adding to her shitty week, shitty month, shitty life. And then her mother, she's longing for, you know, a better relationship with her mother because her mother is also a scientist. And she buries herself in her work. She's not really acknowledging Josie since the divorce. And she's just been kind of MIA. And she wants to reconnect with her mom. And her mom's not there. She's always at the lab doing what she want to do. She's not there being a mother to her daughter. It's very depressing. This looks absolutely ridiculous, probably on screen. Oh, if those of you guys who are new here, like I just got like a whole bunch of new subscribers. Hey, I'm not a beauty guru by any means. If you saw my previous Reading Rouges, you know that. I just smear stuff on my face and hope for the best. It's still like that. Poor Josie, guys. Oh my gosh. So her mom, the scientist, asked her to go get a mirror from her dad. She's like really amped up about it. She's like, I need this mirror. You don't understand. Like, go get that mirror, girl. So on the way back from getting the mirror, Josie is caught like in an accident. She's stuck behind a train and this train is carrying like a very potent element, and that causes an explosion or a flash of some kind, and Josie's like right smack dab in the middle of it. And then that's when things start to get a little weird. So Josie ends up having these weird dreams of what she thinks is her, but she comes to find out it's not her. Like, this girl that she's seeing in her dreams looks like her, exactly like her, but there's something different. Her room's different, you know, the way that she dresses is different, the way she presents herself is different. She's like, it's me, but it's not me. Like, who is this imposter? So after this strange occurrence with the train, at every 12 hours at the same time, 3:59, Josie's mirror that she went to go get for her mom, it warps and it turns into a portal to another universe, a parallel universe, and that's where we meet her doppelganger, Joe. A little bit about Joe. So Joe is like the polar opposite of Josie. She's super like upbeat, bubbly. She's popular, rich, you know, all of that good stuff. Like, complete opposite from Josie. Like, that's not our girl. And so she realizes that the dreams weren't dreams. Like, she has some kind of telepathy with Joe in her universe, which is, I think that is so crazy. So they end up seeing each other in the mirror one time. Oh, I forgot to mention this. So at every 12 hours at 3:59 exactly, for 1 minute exactly, the portal opens to each, like, their respective universes. Like, you got 1 minute to see each other and then that's it. Like, at 4 o'clock a.m. or p.m., that's it. The portal's closed. But every 12 hours, it opens back up again for 1 minute at 3:59. Obviously, Josie's like, what the hell is going on? I gotta find out more. So Josie and Joe start writing letters to each other, trying to make sure that they're not losing their minds, make sure they're not seeing stuff, because, like, I see someone who looks exactly like me in the mirror, but it's not my reflection because she's, like, slightly different. I think we would all be doing that. Like, girl, who is you? Why you look like me? Why you look like we?
Why you look like we? Why you look like we? That's no funny!
So after communicating with each other for a while, they decide, hey, wouldn't it be crazy if we, like, switched lives for a day? So they end up doing it. And so Josie agrees to this because she goes, if there's another me, then there's another Nick, and I could probably win that Nick over, because my Nick back in my universe, he ain't shit. That's why Josie agrees to switch with Joe. So they do the switch, right? And immediately there are many things different. So this is probably implied, but I'll explain it. Joe is under her mom's custody. She lives with her mother, and her father lives elsewhere because, you know, they got divorced. But in Joe's universe, the dad is in the house. He's the present parent, and the mom is, like, nowhere to be mentioned or seen at all. I know my neck is probably a different color. I'm not gonna blend it, not tonight. So Jody notices that something is very wrong when she approaches Mirror Nick. We're gonna call him Mirror Nick because this is not her Nick. This is Joe's Nick. So, Mirror Nick. She approaches him, tries to flirt with him, hugs him, and he's like, I'm not your boyfriend. And she's like, okay, like, what? Like, what do you mean you're not my boyfriend? Joe left out some important details before switching lives, and she purposely didn't tell Josie all of this stuff because there's a motive. Oh, I forgot to mention this about Joe's dad. So, like I said, they're rich because Joe's dad is a part of a government organization called The Grid. I'll get into that. Sorry, left something out as well for the first part of the book. So in the first part of the book, before the whole doppelganger thing happened, there have been creature attacks in Josie's town. Like, there are unidentified creatures attacking and killing people during the night, and they don't know what it is. Let that out. So that's important. So in both universes, these unidentified creatures exist, and they're called the Nox. Now, they're described as what they say, you know, because the whole thing about these creatures that you cannot see them coming, you cannot see them, you can only hear them, but somehow Josie can see them for a split second. So there's like a description of like big beaks, leathery wings, talons, and I'm like, okay, is it like a thunderbird, a griffin, fucking Jeepers Creepers? Like what? I'm like, this makes no sense. Like it's a big bird, big old bat, demon bat thing. That's what it sounded like to me. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so I did some further research. I was like, Nox. I was like, huh, that's like did she create this name like on her lonesome? Is this like an original thing? I looked it up, and actually Nox is also a Greek goddess, and guess what? She is the personification. Did I say that right? Personification of the night. Clever, Gretchen. I like that. I like that. And so these creatures are results of a Cold War government experiment gone wrong, because bitches try to time travel and didn't do the right math. Thus, the Nox was born. So on the way home from school, she doesn't know anything about this because Joe didn't give her a heads up not to be walking outside at night alone, which you shouldn't be doing anyway. Like, you know, disregarding like the man-eating creature, like nocturnal creature, you shouldn't be walking home alone at night in the dark anyway. You're a teenage girl. What are you doing? So Josie is attacked by the Nox, right? So she gets saved by some like mysterious shadowy figure and all that. Barely got out with her life at that. So Josie's had quite enough of this universe. She doesn't get Nick in this universe either. She doesn't know where her mama at in this universe, and she almost got killed. So she's ready to go home. Get this. So when it's 3:59, right, it's time for them to switch back and everything, right? She goes to like walk through the mirror, and she can't. Because guess what? Joe put the mirror up against the wall so she couldn't climb back through that bitch. She trapped her there on purpose. I can imagine what Josie was feeling like betrayal, like hurt. You know, because why would you do this to me? I would be mad as fuck. Because, first of all, you leave all these holes for me to figure out. Like, you didn't tell me enough. You know, you told me, like, just to dress like you and act like you, and that's pretty much it so I can get by. But you didn't tell me no important details about my mama, my daddy, my non-boyfriend. Like, you didn't, the Nox, you didn't tell me none of that. And then you trap me here. We fighting when I see you again. I'm squaring up with you. Point blank. Like, it's giving evil twin. It's giving Catherine from Vampire Diaries. Always f***ing some shit up. Another important detail. This is what I hate about sci-fi. There's so many rules. And like, there's too much lore. Sci-fi is a very complicated genre. I see why, you know, the smart people dig it. They like that complicated stuff. So another important factor about, you know, this book is that Josie notices that stuff from her universe is coming over to Joe's universe, where she is now presiding, and she's confused because none of this stuff came through the mirror with her, so they're just magically teleporting here. There's got to be another anomaly or another portal open, because how are these objects getting through without going through the mirror? So Mirror Nick figures out that Josie is an imposter, so this dude shows up to her room, like in her bedroom, like it's giving Nate from Euphoria, like, yeah, he has a gun, and he's like, yo, who the hell are you? You're not Joe. Who are you? What are you? And Josie's like, hey bro, let me explain. And he's like, tell me who you are right now. Is you one of them? And then she was like, one of them? What you talking about? And he's alluding to the people that work at the grid for the government. You know how these types of things go. Life imitating art, the government not telling you anything about nothing and all that stuff. Yeah, honey. They go there, covering up secrets and stuff. It's giving Area 51, but I digress. So Josie finally tells Nick, like, hey, okay, I'm not Joe. We switch lives. I'm basically her doppelganger. So Nick's Mirror Nick. He's like, bullshit. And so at 3:59, she places him in front of the mirror to show him that she's not lying, because he sees like the portal like materialize and stuff. Oh, I also want to mention this. So like when you would walk through the mirror, like the portal, it's like walking through pudding. And so as each second goes by, it gets harder to walk through. And at the last seconds, it starts to like, you know, become harder like cement. So you better get to that mirror faster or you're going to be stuck there. Don't let it turn into cement because you're not coming back out through the other end. And this is where Josie learns about Jo's like true nature. She's conniving, manipulative, just like a really bad person in general. She uses her power and money and status to like get people to do whatever she wants, which that's never good. We don't like people like that. It's giving Sharpay. So Mirror Nick goes on to explain more about the grid and something called Project Raise. Project Raise was an attempt to get rid of the Knox as a whole. And then something happened, malfunctioned during the experiment, which his older brother Tony was a part of. And that was his experiment, that was his project. And then he lost his brother, unfortunately. And then she also learns that Dr. Byrne, Joe's mom, was also a part of that experiment. And then that kind of landed her in the loony bin because the explosion that happened during the experiment kind of like messed up her brain. And then so she meets the rest of Joe's like school peers. I wouldn't say friends because they don't like her. And so she finds out that they don't like Joe. Same reason why Mirror Nick don't like Joe. And the main reason is that so all of their family members or some of their family members were on board with Project Raise and they lost them. They either disappeared or they died. And so they despise Joe's mom for like making them be a part of that, and they despise Joe as well because she's not a good person. And so after Josie finally convinces that the others that she's not Joe, she's like another person, they devise a theory on how this whole thing happened. It's a lot of theorizing going on. It's science. It's a lot to explain. Time for the first twist. So you remember how I said like Josie has like dreams, and she can like see what Joe is seeing, like when it hits 3:59, she can like see what she's seeing on the other side. So she sees Joe and her mother having a conversation, and she's like, I brought you back here for a reason so we wouldn't have to go back. So it turns out that the mom that Josie was living with for the past 6 months, that's not her mama, that's Joe's mama. Joe's mama switched places with Josie's mama because at the Project Raise, when the explosion happened, they accidentally like switched places. So Josie's real mama is in Joe's universe stuck in the loony bin, and then Joe's mama is in Josie's universe. I know that's very confusing. This twist was like very reminiscent of like Jordan Peele's Us, where like it was like the red is Adelaide and Adelaide is red type thing. That's how I felt when this part came up in the book. So now Josie is more determined to get back home and take her mom back with her so they can reunite as a family. Yes. Subplot material. She's catching feelings. Josie is catching feelings for Mirror Nick. And we're like, girl, you know this is not gonna work. Cause he don't like you like that. He's like he's learning to trust you. Cause you're not Joe, but like, you're like a whole ass doppelganger. So he's like, You know, every time they spend time with each other, they get closer. And like he's, you know, becoming like warming up to her a lot more. And she digging him. And it's, girl. So Nick and Josie devise a plan to like get into the grid and see if they can find any clues or evidence to help them to make another portal to get Josie back home, since freaking Joe placed the mirror up against the wall. So they get to the grid, they get in like under a facade of like touring like for internships and stuff. And then so Josie finds her mom's office, and then she finds evidence that the experiment was sabotaged. So the explosion was not supposed to happen, and then someone was like trying to pay money to you know, get something. You know how capitalism be, you know how all that stuff be. And apparently like there's like this injectable serum that was supposed to neutralize the Knox, and that's like the key to the experiment, other than like this laser that they need to open the portal. and make a black hole to swallow the Nox. It's a lot. Like, there's too many details in this book. I'm leaving out a lot of stuff. If you want to know, like, order the book yourself and read it. I'm leaving out a lot of scientific details, and I know this is not making any sense, but I'm doing my best, because if I go by each detail, we're going to be in here for like 50 minutes. And I know I ain't got y'all attention for that long. So after that, Josie and Mirror Nick are attacked by the Nox. Mirror Nick gets messed up real bad, like, and so the shadowy figure that saved Josie the first time, he come back and he saves both of them. So Josie's like, oh my god, who are you? Like, how did you find us? And the shadowy figure is like holding off on telling them who he is. And so he's like, I need to patch him up, or like, you know, he's bleeding really bad. And so they're in like a dark room, they're patching each other up, and so she gets a glimpse of this figure that saved them, and turns out dude don't have a face. It's just straight shadow. Like, he has no face, no eyes, no lips, no nothing. It's nothing. Also, here's my thing. If you ain't got a face, how are you talking to her? You ain't got no mouth. How are you communicating if you ain't got no mouth? I just spit everywhere. Oh my god. And then so shadowy figure reveals that the Nox were sent to attack. Wow, Talia, that is a mess, honey. The Nox is sent to attack both Nick and Josie, Mirror Nick, because they know too much. They know too much. The government trying to shut them up. So it is revealed that this shadowy figure is actually Nick's older brother, Tony. And let me explain. This is going to sound weird. So he didn't die in the explosion. He just became like parallel universe matter. He's made up of the same stuff that is in the mirror when you're going through it in the portal. He's basically that type of matter, which is why he is like a shadow, essentially. And he can like hide in corners easily. And also, they explain how he's in between dimensions. It's really hard. You have to read the book to understand. It's hard to explain. So now they're trying to get Josie's mom out of the asylum without the grid like coming after them, because they already know what they're trying to do. They're trying to open another portal to get Josie back home, and they're like, nope, quit tampering with stuff. We told y'all to stop messing with stuff. Another twist happens. Joe's dad was in on it the whole time. He was the one who put Josie's real mom in the insane asylum because he knew from jump that wasn't his wife. So he put the imposter in the insane asylum, and he sent Joe. He made Joe switch places with Josie to get that serum, and he threatened like to off her basically if she didn't do what he said. Cause you know he working with the grid, so he's the whole op. Whole time I thought Joe's mom was the op. No, it's Joe's daddy the entire time. But yeah, I'm not gonna get too much far into anymore. It's a lot. It's so much. There's like an epic showdown. People die. I'm not gonna say people die. People reunite. You know, Mirror Nick and Josie, they make out for a little bit. It was nice. And then here's the one bad thing about this damn book that I love so much. It ended on a cliffhanger. Y'all know, now if y'all have been here for a while, y'all know how I feel about darn cliffhanging endings. I despise them with my everything. I don't think it's fair. It's like, why are you edging me? Knowing you're not gonna write another book or a sequel, you just edged me and left me here. Final thoughts about this book. I love it still. It's still a good read. It is sci-fi, so some of the rules and regulations are hard to follow, like I just said, because there are so many details that I did not touch on that I left out because there's so much going on. I would give this book like a 9 out of 10. I only took off 1 point because, you know, cliffhanger endings, don't like that. I also left this out, so the reason why real Nick cheated on Josie is because he was having a hard time, because in their universe that Tony died too. And so he was looking for support and comfort from Josie, but she was so wrapped up in school and like her home life, she really wasn't paying attention, and he needed the attention. So Madison gave him the attention, and they started and so when he's texting her, like after he got caught, he's like,
"Babe, please, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. You know, you used to work there. Like, I needed someone to talk to, and you wasn't giving me that."
"So you your best friend?" Trifling ass. Yeah, but definitely get this book like a 9 out of 10. It's such a good read. And I know I said this probably in one of my videos. I probably haven't. I don't remember. But how I can tell if a book is good or not, if I can see it in my head playing like a movie, I already know it's going to be a good book. And this plot did not like, you know, decrease in fun activity. It was fun all the way through. Great characters, even the evil ones. Great characters. I love Josie's development on going from like this sheepish, nerdy girl into like this fighter. I highly recommend this. 359 by Gretchen McNeil, guys. If you like sci-fi, teen, fiction, with a little bit of romance, a little bit of action, this is what you need. I'm done. I probably look very orange still, but who cares? So that concludes our video for today. If you enjoyed me smearing stuff on my face and talking about 359 by Gretchen McNeil, drop a like. And if you want to leave a comment, like share your interest or, you know, your curiosities about the book, leave a comment or 2 or 3, you know, and subscribe if you want to. I will see y'all on the next go round. Okay, bye.